your point about the Georgia Tech passing game, Darren Waller is a player that, if we go back to 2014, that's a season Georgia Tech won the Coastal, played within 2 points of Florida State in the ACC championship game, and then won the Orange Bowl emphatically over Mississippi State and finished in the top 10 in the nation. They had Darren Waller, they had DeAndre Smelter. Those names are on the tip of my tongue. I looked them up. Yeah, they were both around 22 yards per catch. Ricky June has been the main guy over the last 3 seasons, so he's a seasoned veteran. Yeah, he's not catching 75 passes because that's not the offense they run. He's got 10 receptions this year. He's generally caught 25 to 30 over the course of a season, but he's gaining 22 and 24 yards a catch his first 2 years. This year it's about 17. So yeah, they want to throw it about 15 to 18 times, but they want to hit it over the top, and they really go for the jugular on big plays.
Yeah, and they're able to do that because they run the ball so well. They're averaging almost 400 yards a game rushing, or is it 300? Whichever one, it's a lot of yards. It might be the 400. I think they're 396 yards per game on the ground. So, when you have play action off of that, you have to run downhill because they're going to run so well and be so productive there. You have to run downhill. Now, all of a sudden, he pulls that ball, throws it deep. You have a one-on-one kind of situation. And Ricky June at 6'3", that's going to be an interesting kind of interaction for Miami on defense because D. Delaney's 6'1", and he's your big corner. Now he's out. So now you're talking about Malik Young, who's been really, really good, but he's only 5'9". Is he going to be able to handle a bunch of jump balls and things like that on defense? We'll see. But yeah, Georgia Tech, the thing is not that they're going to throw it like Baylor used to or like Syracuse is or things like that. They're going to throw it when they want to for them, hopefully, and then, hit those big plays when they're available.
I love this stat in today's football. Taquan Johnson, their starting quarterback. So Justin Thomas was the 3-year starter, led them to that Orange Bowl win and pretty successful seasons, 9-4 last year. He's gone. Taquan Johnson, a little less regarded, less of an athlete, but doing a really nice job. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's thrown 33 passes in 4 games. 8 passes a game. You can look at the game log. He has yet to throw 10 passes in a game. It's pretty remarkable. I saw them play Tennessee. That was opening night, Labor Day night. There was no reason that they walked off the field with a loss. It was ridiculous. They ran for, I don't know what the numbers are. It might have been 500 yards. They could not be stopped. And Tennessee's a lousy rush defense, but they're still SEC athletes. And Georgia Tech made them look silly. They missed 2 or 3 field goals. They fumbled the ball continuously, driving the ball 80, 90 yards down the field at will. And they had a 2-score lead, and they fumbled going in to make it another touchdown. And then Tennessee scored on a wild play and took it to overtime, and they really dropped a game that they should have won, or they'd be 4-0. But pretty good football team in Georgia Tech coming to Miami on Saturday.
Yeah, and I just looked it up while you were talking. Georgia Tech ran for 535 in that game against Tennessee, and they've had 2 400-yard games. No, I'm right. Yeah, it's 1584 in 4 games, which I believe comes out to 396 for the season. So almost 400 yards a game rushing. MarkRogersTV teams have been good against Georgia Tech in the past. Miami has been successful against Georgia Tech, even with Al Golden, which is one of the very few positive Al Golden stats you'll ever hear me say because there weren't many of them to say. But, it's a thing where you're going to have scheme versus talent because Miami has better talent across the board, period. Like, I'm not sorry to say that. Just look it up. If you have eyes in your head and a brain that works, like, dude, Miami has better athletes on both sides of the ball. It's that scheme on offense that is the great, it's the equalizer of life. So, you can't cheat on defense. You can't think, okay, I know this play, so I'm going to run here, because that's when they have that option, or they take the other option, reverse counter, whatever you want to say off of that. Now you think they're going to do this, and then they do that, and all of a sudden it's a touchdown. And that can be in a run game or a pass game. So, I think that this is a formidable opponent to some extent. I've said it before. I respect all opponents, but I fear none. And Georgia Tech also has to deal with Miami because they've not played a team of Miami's caliber. They've not played a team with Miami caliber athletes on defense. That's Tennessee inclusive. Hi, Volunteer fans, how are you doing? But Miami has to bring it. This is a spot where they have to let that talent show, and they have to be very disciplined with their assignments.